Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Invicta Specs with John the Phone Guy. Today we have the Venom Punisher. This is model number 27041. This is number 221 of 3000. It's a 52.5 millimeter. This is a full Venom at 100 atmospheres, 1,000 meters, 330 feet water resistant. This is running the Ronda Z60 quartz chronograph, taking the 395 battery, and this is a flame fusion. This is a Gen 3, as you will notice, denoted by the bezel with the scallop. And as you can see right in here, the holes in between at all of the pieces here. And I don't know if I've done a bracelet sizing on this, but the bracelet piece, the black in here is, so this is all one piece that goes around, and this is a pin and collar system, and the center links actually have the sleeve that runs between it, and that's what holds these two pieces in, and then you put the whole black piece together and then slide the pin. A bit complicated. I do like the design of it, but it is, like I say, a little bit different than most. So just as a note. And of course, we'll kind of go in right here and look at some of the details. As you can see, all of the work in the background. I mean, just some of the details. You've got all the little mini skulls riding around in different angles. You've got, of course, the large four-tooth skull. And the reason I kind of mention that is there is different variations of teeth, Punisher skulls, and being that I just pointed that out, if you'll notice the skull at the end of the chronograph second hand in the middle, that has 6 teeth. So just a point of clarification, kind of a geeky note. The day of the week is up here at the top, and of course you've got the bullet markers from 11 down to 8. This is more of, I wouldn't say this is a rifle round, more like a pistol round style. Of course you've got your day of the week here, and we just kind of turn it to see some of the, but as you can see, some of the skull details laid out inside here. And of course the way the bullet markers are kind of set in to the rehaut right here, and you got the gradient scales on the inside, just a very different way of doing things. And of course over here you've got at the 9 and the 10 o'clock, you've got the 45 and 50 sword style on the hands, and of course all of the interesting pieces of how a Gen 3 bezel is put together, with the scallop of course is normal, but then the hollowed out pieces, because this is a separate piece than these are individualized, held in by these screws. This is screwed to that, so some really intricate work here. But I digress from our standards, so let's go back to the back. And we have our Invicta Reserve, obviously scissor deployment clasp, and we have the two-tone again in this motif of black and silver. Of course you can see the limited edition labeling, if I can get it to focus right there, some of the information. I mentioned this on the last video. I would prefer that they not do the information like this in a inked version. Now this has some raised pieces to it, but it's a little bit better than some. So I will say they've improved on it, because you can feel that this has been grooved out, etched out of the metal, because I have noticed that some of the ones that were just an ink stamping like this, they start to rub off as you wear them over time. And and all that. And of course, you know, like I mentioned, the bracelet is very unique. I don't know if you can kind of see right. I'm going to try and point this out. So if you look right, it's right about there. The sleeve will come to about here, over to about here, and that's where that inner sleeve is that the pin goes through. And as you'll notice, on most watches, there's arrows to indicate direction of travel on a cotter pin style. There are none on this. This is very much like the Grand Octane in how it's done. The pin goes universally, left or right, doesn't matter. So just a point of notation on here from that standpoint. But anyway, back to the watch and the dial. Of course, this is full unidirectional, and we've got the screw downs on the function pusher and the crown, as this is a full Venom. So start the chronograph, and this one does not have a 1/10 of a second because this is a simple chronograph. So you've got your sweep hand, and then you've got your 30-minute chronograph timer down here. So stop and reset. Spin these guys back down, finger tight. Of course, first notch, change the date. Second notch, change the time. Push everything back in, screw it back down, finger tight, and all of that. So, and as I went through all of the details already, minus this big massive smudge. There we go. That's kind of the bulk of one. I love a Venom. The Venom was my very first Invicta watch, so Venoms hold a special place for me. And Punishers are just amazing designs. I just really love it. So we'll throw the old calipers on here. So they called it 52.5, and that's what I get. So good on them. Got 22. So this, I mean, it's a Venom. It's thick. I mean, there's no two ways about it. Just in case anyone was curious what it is to the edge of the crown, it's 58. Here at the lug, we're at 37. Bracelets at 25.5. These lugs are around, or the bracelet nuggets are around 5 to 6. The end to end on this is 50. So that being said, this, with the way that you see the curvature move downward abruptly on the lug system, you can really get a sense of how this is. From what I understand, people at around 8.25, 8.5 inch start to have comfort issues because this is such an abrupt turn right here. I have a 7-inch wrist, so for me it's not a big deal, but as you can see, as it keeps going up, you're going to start getting into an issue where it's going to ride up onto you. So just a point of note, I would say if you're hovering around 8.25, 8.5, be aware that this may not, that a regular Venom is not going to fit you comfortably. Now, obviously, everyone's comfort level is different, so there may be people that say, oh no, I'm 8.5 and it fits me fine. Everyone's comfort and wearability is different. So this is 13 ounces, so it's a meaty watch. You're definitely going to know it's on your wrist, but you know, it is, like I say, for me, I love wearing it. Throw this guy on here, so you can kind of see, for me, on my, I'm a little bit less than 7-inch, but you can see where it's pushing onto my skin right here, that lug. See how it's like kind of pushing right there. But for me, that's not a big deal. It's not uncomfortable. I wear mine a little bit loose, so they move up and down. I get a little bit of a Invicta bump on the back of my hand, but it is what it is. I'd rather it travel a little bit than to, you know, squeeze too tightly, but that's just for me. And with that, we'll kind of Let's see if I can get this guy to set up. Venoms aren't exactly the easiest thing in the world to, on a bracelet that is, to set straight. So with that, we have the Venom Punisher model 27041. And shout out to Instagram, Smitten by Invicta, women's fashion with Invicta watches, ensembles. Obviously, YouTube sensations, Trap Vision 3D, and Tommy Big Time. Great source of information and camaraderie. We do our shopping at ShopHQ and InvictaStores.com. And you know, Facebook friends, Invictaholics, Invictacruisers, InvictaVets. Shout out to all of those. And as we are, you know, well underway with quarantine, I hope that everyone is healthy and being safe, and all the things that we need to do to weather this until we have treatments and vaccines and we can go back to our normal way of life. For those that have been laid off due to that, I pray for you and your families that this ends quickly. And with that, I say enjoy your Invicta timepieces and hope to see you next time on Invicta Specs. Take care.